Okay.
Okay, so we're live. What's going on, YouTube? It's Martin from Thrift Store Gold here. Sadly, I do not have KRISTINA with me today, but I'm doing my first live interview. I scheduled a bunch of interviews with a bunch of other YouTubers and guys who are just about making money. So definitely be well, stay tuned for that because it's gonna be awesome. I got a bunch of good YouTubers planned out, and I'm gonna ask them some good questions about their business. So I'm super excited for the first one today. We got Noah from Wholesale Direct. So say what's up, Noah.
Hey guys, thank you for having me on your channel. I've had you on my channel and we've been corresponding back and forth. So it's finally nice to actually see your audience, which is comprised of more thrifters.
Yeah. So I actually I've made a list of a couple questions. I got about like 6 questions to ask you for about wholesale drop shipping, because I'm really curious to know how that like works out and everything. So I guess we'll just hop right into it. I'm gonna say what's up. We got Seymour in the house. We got Ty. What's up, Zach? Bryant's here. Four-eyed Hustler. He's gonna be listening while he's lifting. That's awesome. I think Noah said he's going to the gym after this.
Yeah, do my weekly runs.
Your weekly runs, yeah. So I'm gonna start with the first question, I guess. It's a pretty easy one. So why did you start your wholesale business? Like, why did you start this route instead of like the thrifting or just a different kind of business?
So I didn't actually start this one. I started with private label, just buying bulk from China, shipping it to Amazon. I lost a lot of money on that. Didn't go too well. Then I started sort of getting into actually doing online arbitrage. So instead of going out to Walmart, so I didn't have a car. I don't really live that close to a Walmart, or I live like in between everything. So I never really had access. So I'd go onto coupon websites and I'd source, and then I'd list it onto Amazon, Mercari, eBay, Bonanza, Newegg, stuff like that. And then I actually started to import more from Alibaba, and instead of sending it to China, it would just go to my house and I'd sell that way. And then I started sourcing from U.S. wholesalers, and then instead of buying bulk, I actually started dealing with items that are a lot heavier, a lot more expensive, and it would just cost too much. So now I asked if the people have a drop shipping program, and then from there, I just based my whole business off of that.
Yeah. So did you how much money did you lose out? I'm kind of curious.
Private label?
Yeah.
Around $5,000, my first product.
Wow, $5,000. So would you suggest to not really do private labeling? Because I heard about that, and like when I first started out, I thought that was like the big ticket item, but it seems like a lot more people say it's like kind of too hard to almost do, and it's not really worth it.
If you're gonna do it, I would suggest that you have a niche that you want to sell in, that your product is novel. It's novel. It's not just something that you're going to find on Amazon and then just slap your own label onto it. Because the advice that most people are giving today, and probably the advice that was really going around YouTube and the community as a whole back then, was that you just need to find a product, find it selling well, then just slap your own name on it, basically create your own brand, and then just go ahead and throw it up on Amazon. Really, I don't know if you follow, I think there's a YouTuber, forgot his name, I think it's Trevor or something, and he basically talks about building your passion product on, and then like building a business about that. So I think if you actually want to get started with private label, you should really make it about a product that you're passionate about, because this way you can actually improve on something and you know the industry well.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of goes with almost all these niches too, is just like try to find like a product that you more so like to sell or like to deal with and everything. So I feel you on that.
I think it's the opposite with thrifting though. You don't want to buy products that you think would sell.
See, with thrifting, I look for brands that, like, I mean, obviously when I do the research, I look for those brands that are selling, but I try to just find things sometimes that I think would be a good deal and like a good buy, and then I'll buy that and I'll throw it on eBay. And I mean, I've sold at least one of those things so far, so I think won't be too bad. I don't know. But let's jump into the second question. So what are some of the things that you had to sacrifice to start your business?
So besides for the money I lost with private label, I don't know if I really sacrificed anything. I know a lot of people in their entrepreneurship journey, they sacrificed this, and then maybe they'll say they sacrificed friendships and everything. It wasn't really something I sacrificed because I've always, like I said, I've always been entrepreneurial. I've always had side hustles. And it was just like something that sort of evolved from that. So I don't know if I really sacrificed anything, but I've definitely lost money along the way, and I've definitely had some failures.
Yeah. Okay, well, so you haven't like really had to sacrifice like any time that you used to do, like if you used to play sports or anything like that. You've just always been around the entrepreneur type of lifestyle.
Yeah, I wasn't homeless on the streets or anything. I was.
That's funny. So I guess we'll hop into the third one then. I see we got 50 Esme in here. Good to see you in here. And then Andrew George says, Noah is a good dude. Been following him for a minute on Instagram. Martin, keep hustling, man. Love seeing it. Much respect to you both. That's awesome. Shout out to you guys. To you, you're awesome. But so then the third question, for someone just starting out, how much money would you suggest is necessary for them to start the wholesale drop shipping business?
It's a tough question. So for me, I've always, like I said, I've always had side hustles. I've always had cash flow. I'm pretty good with money management. So I'd say that if you're looking to start any business, don't start it if you don't have money in general. Don't start it if you don't have a job. Don't start it if you don't have cash flow. Specifically for wholesale drop shipping, I would suggest maybe have at least $500, like at least, and have credit cards and credit lines that you can rely on. For a regular wholesale business, I would say upwards of like $3,000, because this is an expensive business and it can get pretty expensive very quickly.
Yeah. Wow. I wasn't expecting the 3,000. That's crazy.
Because if you're buying in bulk, you
Yeah.
gotta like plan for those times when you're gonna run out of inventory and you need to replenish.
Yeah. So that's pretty much, you're saying they need about $500 to buy their first just their first shipment order.
No, so if you're doing wholesale drop shipping, it's not that you need the $500 to cover your first shipment. It is that you need to cover the first shipment. It's just that when the customer gives it to you on eBay, you then go ahead and use that money that you got on PayPal, and you can use that to pay your suppliers. But like I said, sometimes PayPal will hold your money, or it's better to be safe than sorry.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So then now, is there anything like besides getting like a business license, all that, like what's something that you kind of need for a wholesale drop shipping business?
You don't really need a business license in order to get started working with U.S. wholesale vendors. You will need some form of sales tax exemption because they are wholesale, and that means they sell business to business only, and they won't charge you wholesale, or they won't charge you sales tax. So depending on whatever state you live in, you will need to get either a resale certificate, some form of sales tax exemption, unless you're in like a state like Delaware, Oregon, Alaska, or Montana, or I think New Hampshire, but I'm not sure, where they don't actually charge sales tax. So depending on where you live, you'll need different things.
Okay. And then another thing I had, did you have to get an LLC for your business?
No. So I have an LLC right now. That's just because, number one, for legality issues, and also for this, like for tax reasons, because I'm not a professional, but obviously these certain corporations have different benefits. But I started out as a sole proprietor. I basically just got my EIN, and then I registered my business with the state of New Jersey. As a sole proprietor, I got my tax exemption number, and that was it.
Nice. So sorry, I'm replying back to a comment, but so you wouldn't need an LLC to start wholesale drop shipping?
It depends which state you live in. I don't know all of the states. I know in like New York, for example, where you are, it costs a lot of money to start an LLC, and I think it's like I said, it depends on where you live. A great resource where you can look up is actually TaxJar. They have a whole bunch of blog posts about it.
Okay, TaxJar. I'm gonna write that down. And then Ty said it's laggy. I don't know. Nobody else is saying that, but TaxJar. Okay. So then I guess we'll hop into the fourth question I'm at, or maybe fifth. I don't know. I lost track. But how do you think this will be a long-term business or a short-term?
I think this is a long-term business in the sense that I can convert any of my products that are selling well, and I could actually buy inventory. And also, I do have contracts. I also have been working with, and I've been building up relations with these companies that I can then buy bulk from, and it's actually like a real business relationship that I'm forming with these companies. So in terms of that, I think it's a lot longer than other business models. And again, I don't do other business models, so I can't really speak on that. But from my perspective, I do see it as something that is long term.
Okay, well that's awesome then. What are some pros and cons of the business?
Pros and cons of wholesale drop shipping are: number one, you need to get sales tax exempt in your state, or if you need like certain documents, and then you actually need to apply to certain companies. Certain companies are going to have different requirements. You're going to probably get rejected a couple of times. It's harder to find these companies. It's harder to find winning products. You're working with smaller profit margins than if you were drop shipping from China. Returns, it depends on who you work with. So it really depends on like who you're working with in general, but there are definitely some negative connotations to starting this business.
Yeah. Now, do you feel there's higher profit margins in like wholesale drop shipping and then just like the arbitrage drop shipping?
Certainly, depending on who you're working with. So there's something called MAP pricing, which stands for minimum advertised price. This is the minimum price that you'll be allowed to sell an item for. So depending on how competitive that item is, it could technically be a race to the bottom. And when everyone is selling it for the same exact price, you don't really have a way to sway your customers over unless you're selling it on your own Shopify site, directing your own traffic or your own WooCommerce or whatever. But if you're working with like a brand, like a manufacturer or something, and they don't have MAP pricing, then it could be pretty profitable and pretty lucrative.
Wow. Okay, so I didn't know all that, so that's pretty cool. So then, what is one thing that you do to find your products? I don't know if you want to share how you find them, but maybe like a tip you could give someone.
So I sell in a market. I have two industries that I sell in. I sell in home and decor, specifically to large home furnishing items, so clocks, pool tables, bars, pool stools, those items. And then I also sell in a more morbid niche. I don't know if you want me to elaborate on that.
I mean, if you want to, yeah.
So I sell funeral products and products that typically would go to funeral homes and stuff like that. So keepsakes, cremation jewelry, stuff like that, small, unique items like that.
Okay, cool. Well, what sells, right?
Right. I mean, I think it's a very undersaturated niche for the simple fact that most people just don't have no one's going to think to get into it.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say no one's gonna really think to sell that, and what's kind of bad to say, but I mean it's always gonna be around, right?
Right.
So, I mean that was pretty much all my questions that I could think of before I came on, but I'll try to think of some really quick. So, when you started your business, did you know it was gonna, or not like business, but your e-commerce, I should say, did you know you're gonna go the wholesale drop shipping route, or did you think you were gonna go like a different way besides private labeling?
So I originally started private label on Amazon. I bought about 300 units of. I have a video like on my channel and stuff about it, but I have like these nature kits that I bought. Those didn't go so well. Like I said, I lost around $5,000, and then actually I didn't lose 5,000 all in all because I had them shipped back to my house. I sold them on eBay and Mercari, so I did get some of my money back. But and then I thought that was going to work out, and then after that, the person who I had purchased the course from and done all that stuff, he actually came out with a video saying that before he got into private label, he was flipping items on eBay using online coupon sites. So I started doing that. I was making about I think my most I made in a month was like $300 to $400 that month profit. But that was not really sustainable because again, you're buying these coupon sites and you're typically only limited to buying one of them. Mm-hmm. And then that's not really that scalable. So then I started moving on to other business routes. And I don't know if I saw wholesale like when I first started, but that was obviously where I just gravitated to more.
Okay. So now with your business, do you feel it's kind of like more like, is it really hands-on, or is it kind of like you can put upfront work and then kind of just let it roll while you're sitting on the side watching it?
I think for the particular industry that I sell in, it's very hands-on. I always get a lot of it's very urgent. I have a lot of customers who are grieving, so that particular niche is very it's very hands-on. Also, for the other niche I sell in home decor, those items are very expensive. They're very heavy. They're the customer wants to know everything about the shipping times. Like as soon as they see an update, I'm getting messages. So I wouldn't say that it's very hands-off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I'm in class in college, I'm like checking my phones, emails, eBay. So
Yeah.
it's not as like passive as people would say.
Okay, because I know there's a lot of people that do the wholesale, and they say it's like they just order one thing. Like I guess that Dan and Eric guy, Rakin's been interviewing. I guess their route is they pretty much order like once a month and then just sit back and let it roll in.
Yeah, so that's more like wholesale bulk when you're buying
Yeah.
in bulk from different wholesale companies, manufacturers,
Okay.
distributors.
So now, do you do multiple products at once, or do you just kind of just list one product and then you can get the discount for that one product, and then that's how you sell it?
So I have two eBay accounts. One eBay account has, I think, 283 items, and the other one has 5,000. We were over 5,200. So I just list as many as I can in that specific niche.
Okay, not bad. That's kind of how we're doing
Not
it.
bad. That's 4 years of work right there. 5,200 listings.
200 listings.
5,200.
5,200. Oh, I missed
Yeah,
that.
all manual, no software, no nothing.
Yeah, wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, I hated every second of it. That's the worst part of selling on eBay. I hate the listings.
Yeah, that's why I have Christina do all the listing. So I'm gonna read some of the comments. Thrift Esme said, listening while driving. Well, I hope you're driving safe. Retro Drunk, what's up? How's it going? Duncan's in the house. Good to see you. Ty said hands off. Hands on and off. Kentucky Tycoon. Where are my Kentucky Tycoon followers supporting Martin and Christina? So shout out to you, Kentucky Tycoon. And then Ty said Noah is a baller. So yeah, I mean, that was all my questions I could really think of. I don't know. I feel like you kind of did a really good job displaying your questions. So anything else you want to add to this, I guess?
Sure. It's a pretty transparent business model. I think that once there's a little bit of a hill in the beginning, but once you get over that, after that, it's just, I wouldn't say it's smooth sailing, but it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. It's not something that you're going to make $1 million in your first day with, but it is easy to get started with. And once you get started, it's drop shipping, so you don't have to hold any inventory, but definitely a good business model that if you're looking to diversify your e-commerce portfolio.
Okay. So now a quick question I just thought of. So do you like not having, like ordering the product like one at a time, or do you wish you could like get them all in bulk and then ship them out to like FBA or like FBA or something?
So that's what I'm going to plan on doing for the products that are selling well. I already have plans with one of my suppliers to purchase. We're going for about 50 units of an item that's been selling about 2 a day right now. But I'm going to try doing FBA. I haven't done FBA in over 3 years right now, so it's going to be a little bit of a getting back into it. I want to see how Amazon works. I need to look at all of their fees and everything. But yeah, so I'm going to try and convert my winning products to doing that, so I don't have to constantly go ahead and fulfill orders just one by one. Just let Amazon do it.
Yeah, that's where we really want to get in the FBA as well. Just have Amazon do all the fulfillment.
So I recently attended a Amazon FBA facility. They have one here in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. So I was there. They don't let you. They tell you not to take pictures, but there were a lot of times where you could have taken a quick picture. The facility, it's picture 3 football fields long, and the entire process is they have these little robots that just go along the floor, and they're moving these packages. There are these there's these giant crates and everything. The entire process I'm telling you, it's mind blowing. And none of the robots bumped into each other. And the guy said that Amazon acquired the company, so now it's proprietary technology. And they're like, it's crazy. I'm telling you, Amazon's ahead of the game. And as soon as I heard that the eBay fulfillment center was coming out, I was like, there's no way they're catching up.
That's crazy. Yeah, I actually saw a video of all the packages and how they just don't hit each other. That's crazy.
It's next level. Like the entire tour, my mouth was open. All the other sellers I was with, like I knew that Amazon. I own Amazon stock, so I was like, I knew the company was doing well. I knew this, but like after I left that warehouse, I was like, it was nuts.
That's crazy. So on that note, let's wrap it up there, because that was actually really wild, because I've seen that photo or those videos, and that is crazy. But thank you, Noah, for coming on and joining me for this live stream and this interview, my first one. So thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. And then any final words you want to say before we end this?
Sure. So thank you for having me on your channel. I try and watch every single one of your videos. Like I said, I've been selling on the platform on eBay for around 6, maybe 7 years now, and I just started on Amazon. And I know that you guys are new, but it's always nice to hear a fresh perspective of it. And you guys have also given me some tips that cutting the box to decrease the packing size, so you can learn from everyone.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So thank you for coming on, Noah. Thank you all the people that are watching. I really appreciate you all. Sorry, this is kind of like not as good as my usual live streams. It's because Christina's not here, so I'm blaming it on that. She's at work. But yeah, thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate you all. And yeah, that's the first live stream interview done in the books. So yeah, thank you guys.